Presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
I'm
Brittany,
Final Cut Man.
I see you did that jump in the air situation in front of that cave with your helmet on and everything this time.
Yeah.
How did you not bobblehead the shit out of that when you jumped in the air with that helmet on your head?
My helmet properly fits my head. I don't know what to tell you. I will say that it does take a few tries to when Jared's taking pictures to get the heel click in there.
Does he just set it to do like a burst of shots? Because he always seems to catch you at like you look like Michael Jordan out there. Like you look
I
like
think
you're about
that's
4 feet
probably
off
about
the ground.
45 minutes of picture taking.
Yeah, that's
No,
a
he
spray
actually-
and pray.
He actually doesn't set like the take a whole bunch of shots, bursts. He just like takes one. Like it's with my phone and he just takes one, and I think it took maybe 3 to 5 tries this time.
Well, he looks like he might have been about a half a mile away from me this time too, so that seems a little weird. But
Well, he was a little bit farther back because we were trying to get the whole scale of like that. So we went
wherever
to
it is, it looked awesome.
We went to Red River Gorge this
Red
weekend.
River Gorge, bitches.
It's like about an hour from Lexington, and that's in normal travel distance, just so you know, not Ryan's, Brittany's travel distance time.
Oh, so it was an hour. It was an hour.
It's an hour of normal everyday
person
speed.
So like 60 miles from you guys or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It was really like 32 miles from Brittany, but it took her an hour and a half to get
it's
there.
it's a really cool place.
It is
looks
a really
really
cool
cool.
place.
Yeah.
So this weekend we didn't drive through the gorge. We did that when I first moved here. We need to do it again. But at any rate, anybody who's in the area, you should go there because it's really pretty and it's really fun on the bike. And
When I was a kid, we'd go there camping and eat a shit ton of mushrooms.
Well, there you go.
They didn't drive through the gorge this time. They just drove through the gorge the rest of the weekend.
You guys used to eat mushrooms off of
Nice
Red Tip Gorge.
Yeah, out of Red River Gorge, man. We'd go camping. It's good
You go
times.
camping in the Red River Gorge.
Man,
how,
you'd
how long
see
did
all
you stay?
kinds of shit out there. I saw a pink elephant on a unicycle one time. Some bitch was just trucking down the trail.
That's impressive. Well,
yeah.
anyways, so yeah, we went to Nada Tunnel, which is this really cool tunnel that like goes straight through the mountain there, and it's super neat. You guys got to go sometime.
Some guy on mushrooms named that, didn't he, Tony? Not a
Dude,
tunnel.
I went through
Probably,
that
I don't
fucking
know.
tunnel on my Sportster, and it took me fucking 6 months to clean my bike.
What are you talking about?
Because it was like leaking. I guess it had been raining or something, so it was
Yeah.
like leaky in the fucking tunnel when I was going through it. Like
Yeah.
mud water was all over me and all over my bike. I had a nervous
It's
breakdown.
obviously dry here this weekend, so we didn't get to see that.
You said that there's like mud water dripping out of Red Tip Gorge.
Yep, it is.
Oh, ugh.
I like to call that baby gravy.
Oh, no. That ain't right.
God damn it, Tony.
That ain't
Gross.
right.
Tony, I got a good one for you. So after our long trip last weekend, I brought my bike in. I'm like, I'm gonna do a full Tony Cox detail job on this
It's
thing.
about fucking time.
I took my fairing off. I took my bags off. You'll fucking never guess what I found when I took my bags off, Tony.
What was that?
Fucking cement dust.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Cement
geez.
dust on my swing arm.
It got every. Dustin, were you in on the cement dust, or you were
No.
coming?
I was on my way from home to
Yep.
meet you guys.
Yeah.
That shit was everywhere.
So you mean to tell us that you haven't taken all that shit apart since the time you rode here, Ryan? Or is this fresh cement dust?
No, that's
No,
like
fuck,
2 years
I-
ago, 3
I
years
haven't-
ago.
I haven't. No, it's probably 2
2
years
years
ago. Yeah.
ago.
No, I probably have not taken. I mean, I've washed my bike obviously several times, but to do a full detail job where you like, I cleaned. I have those turbine wheels, which are a bitch to clean. I got the brushes out and
Yeah.
I clean the wheel. You know, it's the one of those where you wash your bike, then you clean your wheels, and you wash your whole bike again.
Why didn't you do the
I
wheels
did the
first?
whole thing. What's that?
Do the wheels first.
You
then
know
only
what's
have
worse
to
from
go
the
through
top
it
down?
once.
There was
Top down.
so many bugs on my bike that it deserved a two. It was a 2-washer for sure.
2 wash.
Dang.
Yeah.
Motherfucker was dirty.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
I
not
killed
washed my bike.
I killed my fair share of bugs. So
Dustin, is your bike clean?
No.
God damn it. What's going on here?
I'm
Hey,
riding
Dustin-
it, dude.
It's just-
have you
Yeah.
ever, Dustin? Have you ever used one of those foam cannons on your bike
No.
to clean it?
I've used that. What is it? That foam spray in a can. But
Yeah.
it doesn't.
1000 or whatever.
It don't work for the shit though.
Oh,
I
okay.
watched the fucking dude take it and he put it in the fucking end of the garden hose, all the soap,
Yeah.
and then hooked it up to the faucet and turned it on. And the motherfucker turned into a foam cannon.
Yeah, I use a foam cannon on mine.
So there's a guy on Instagram. It's like I think it goes by Mike's Mobile Detailing. Tony, you got to find this guy on Instagram and follow him. He jacks up the bike on a jack stand while he's sitting on it. It's the fucking coolest thing
Good
I've
for
ever
him.
seen. He just grabs the long pump thing and he just fucking jacks the bike up while he's sitting on it, so you don't need 2 people to hold on to the. It's fucking genius, dude. I've never seen it before, and it's genius. Genius.
Just jacking on the bike.
Dude, you should see him. He makes your detailing look like a juvenile.
I bet he does, man.
Oh man, he has all these different kind of machines that he waxes and polishes and brushes and
He goes to Adam and Eve.
yeah, he does.
He's got
He
all
does.
the toys.
Yeah, he's got
It
all the
waxes, it polishes, it
Yeah.
twists,
Yeah,
it turns.
Mike's Mobile Detailing, I think is the name of it on Instagram.
But does
You
he
should see
have the milking machine?
You should see the bikes that he details, man. They're all dope. Are you talking about that one that twists?
He's only got
pumps and a twist. is
You
what we
can't
call
watch
it.
the milking machine unless it's on his fans only channel.
Yeah,
He
I got
Man,
a
it's
few
what-
patents on that.
does. It's been a hot minute. How long has it been since we've recorded?
It's been
3
like 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks. That's nuts.
We had a
4
little
weeks for
holiday,
me.
and fucking Percy was over there in Europe. God only doing what, and who knows? But he was over there.
The only thing I couldn't take my mind off of is every time Percy posted a picture, he had one of those ascots on, and I couldn't get past it.
Dude, I saw that comment. That was my riding scarf that I've been wearing for years.
Looks
You
like an
riding a
ascot.
scarf?
Hey, as soon as you go to Europe, it looks like an ascot, Dave.
I see. I see. It
I'm
was
just saying.
definitely cooler over there. I'm telling you.
How does that? How
I
did
thought it was
the,
something to grab onto, so you couldn't get away. You're not going anywhere, big boy.
No, no comment. No comment.
How do the seasons compare? Are they much different from
No.
where you were versus here?
No, the seasons are the same. It's just temperatures are a little different. I mean, and it depends on where you are on the altitude. Like last weekend, I was, in the Austrian and Italian Alps, and it, quite a bit cooler, than when you're back down at lower altitude.
I don't know what you guys been having, but we've been hot as balls. I mean,
Yeah,
On
Yeah, I got back
fire.
here, man. It was like 90 degrees. It's
Yeah.
like insane.
The only difference is we haven't had like the bad humidity yet, so it's been
Yeah, it
hot,
hasn't
but
been
it's
too
been
bad.
it's been that dry heat,
sure.
you
That's what
know,
she said.
which it's still fucking hot. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
You guys have been having any humidity, Dustin?
Oh yeah, we got it all.
Do you?
90 plus and humidity.
We have not had that. We've had 90 plus with low humidity, so it's actually, if you're sitting out on the deck with the fan on, it's nice. It's not
We
too
haven't had
bad.
rain in 3 weeks.
I know it's dry as a dick here too.
You haven't had rain. You haven't had rain in 3 weeks.
Spit on it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's
Spit
dry
on
as a
it.
dick over here,
Spit on
dude. I mean, it's a rough ride.
Yeah. Great if you like to ride. For the
Everybody's
farmers,
always gotta
not so
bitch
much.
about something with the weather. Rains too much, doesn't rain enough. It's too cold, too
The
hot.
weather's always fucked, man. Nobody's ever happy with the weather. We had about a week right there before Memorial Day where it was fucking perfect.
Yep. Yep.
75 and sunny every day. It was
Oh,
fucking
nice.
perfect.
Dustin, do you have an appointment for your logo tattoo?
No, actually, me and my son went to Springfield on Saturday, but we were waiting to see what news we got today with the wife before I made any scheduling of any kind.
Oh, sure.
Soon, though.
Tattoos.
Everybody's getting inked all around. Brittany, you're gonna have to make an appointment pretty soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta save some money first, but
Yeah, you got to get those
Maybe.
teardrops tattooed
Those
on you.
teardrops.
On your face.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a good 2 sessions for one of them poodles.
So you
Hey, I buy my dogs cheap.
You can. Are they worth anything?
My poodles, probably
Yeah.
not. They're like
No.
seconds.
Could
They
I'm
give
watching
those-
for deals.
They give those devil dogs away.
Could we dump them on the black market for a tattoo?
See Brittany checking Craigslist for dogs.
Not quite.
Those.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I do have a bunch of Facebook groups, but you'd be surprised it's fucking expensive on Facebook.
Those poodles are like bunnies, man. You don't just get one; you get like 42.
Well, in all honesty, most people buy doodles now, so you don't even see. Like,
What's
I
that
think
Poodle,
fucking
is that
difference?
that's a poodle with a dick, isn't it?
no, it's a poodle mixed with something else.
A dick.
A dick.
A dick.
It's got that low hanger that hooks the grass.
Look at my poodle's doodle.
Yeah, we call him Anchor.
We call him anchor.
He can't run. He just anchors himself.
Every time he runs like a pogo stick, he just bounces every
Yeah,
fourth
he
step.
Oh my god.
Just dragging dick wherever he goes.
You should see this fucker jump a fence. He's like an Olympic athlete.
He does a helicopter halfway down. Good for him.
Oh Lord. Old Anchor. There he is.
Came all the way back from Europe for this, Dave.
I know. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Should have just rented the bike and stayed over another week or two.
Another week of hand-beaten foam.
We were on a roll that night. But no, it has been what, 2 weeks since we recorded, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what's all been going on? Anything?
Well, I was trying to tell you about my weekend, but then you guys had to go on with the dick jokes, you know.
We weren't. It was a dog dick joke, actually.
No, it was
That's
before
because
that.
dick
You had
jokes are
just other
funny.
dick jokes.
Dick jokes are funny.
So Brittany went to the No Name Cave and
Nada.
the Red
Nada.
River Gorge.
The
Not
Nada
a
Cave.
Not a cave. Red
Not a
River Gorge.
tunnel, rather.
Oh, not a tunnel. Sorry, not a tunnel.
Yep.
Either way,
And
it's
then we
still
did
a dark
a
hole.
loop. Don't ask me where, because I don't know what the hell towns we went through, but we did a loop down towards Richmond. And you guys have heard the stories about Jared and his GPSing.
Yeah.
Jared doesn't have a GPS.
So he
Or a turn signal.
Yeah.
he looked up a route for us, and he said he zoomed in on Google Maps in a couple places to check to see if there was gravel. Well, there was one stretch that he did not check. He didn't spot, and we went. Think of a road that's like a low key Tail of the Dragon situation, but it's 6 miles gravel. The entire 6 miles is gravel.
The
See, I
road
just-
down,
So
the
that
road
was
down, to,
quite
the
the
road down to Ed
adventure.
Gein's house.
Yeah.
So you know,
No,
there's
this
actually,
is like turns,
there's literally
hills.
a setting on Google Maps that you can say avoid unpaved roads.
Yeah.
I don't think
for
you
sure.
understand, Dave. This is the mountains. It was just like the majority of it was paved, and then there was just this 6 mile stretch in the middle of it that was just
Unpaved.
I would have been doing a
no
3-point turn
maintenance.
right there.
Yep.
We talked about you, Tony. I said if Tony
Oh, I
hit
would've
this,
turned
he would
straight
have just
around.
fucking turned around. He
Yeah.
said, "I'm going
Fuck
home."
you and fuck you. I'm going home. I'm
It would've
not
been-
riding down that.
I
dirty ass
embraced
shit.
it. I
It would have been like
embraced
Mike
and we
Miles
did
in
the
that
whole
Mike
thing.
Myers in that tunnel with the golf cart. He'd have gone like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Right
didn't wash
back
your
down
bike
the other
after you
side of
got
that
home,
red tip
did Jared?
gorge.
It was actually surprisingly fun. But yeah, It was exciting. It was
The
not
gravel was
expecting-
fun. Did you ride with
Yeah,
your
I
legs
had a
hanging
good
down so you
time.
didn't tip over?
No, I just drove really slow. I mean, stayed in like second gear.
All right.
It was a lot of fun.
6 miles
Fuck
of gravel. You still haven't washed your bike.
Nope.
Did
Got
Jared
home.
wash his
It was really
bike?
hot, so we came home and we just went inside and stayed inside the rest of the day.
So how many miles did you ride?
I think the whole day was about 100. So we just went to the gorge and then did a loop and came back.
So if it was 60 miles there and 60 miles back, you rode a 20-mile loop then? Does that sound about right?
60 plus 60 is 120.
So not even that much then. You said it was about 100 miles. I thought you said it was an hour to this place. I was right then. It's 35 miles from your house, right? It just take you an hour to get there.
Wrong.
By your math, if you only rode 100 miles that day, but it was an hour away from your house, had to have only been about 30 miles away.
Ryan, you don't understand how the roads in Kentucky work. None of them go straight.
You're right. They
But
don't
a
go
mile's
straight.
a mile, no matter where you go.
Exactly.
But it does take longer when you're not going just straight. It says,
You're right. It does. But if
Brittany,
you're
I think your math is fuzzy.
you know, you might be right on the math situation.
And you're an engineer. That's fucking
I'm-
scary.
I'm telling you, what was the latest bridge project you worked on?
Whatever it is, don't drive over
Yeah,
it.
exactly. This isn't my first rodeo, Brittany. Just in case you've been wondering.
I'm gonna look up the loop. I don't know the exact loop that we did, but
You watch. She's going to say she rode 70 miles that day.
no, it said no. It was more.
They
than
were
that.
gone for 6.5 hours. 70 miles.
It was. It
70
says
miles.
62 miles to Nada Tunnel. And then we went down through. I don't know which road we took, but we
Yeah, your
went.
math is fuzzy as fuck.
Fuzzy.
We went through the mountains, down through Irvine, and then back up through Richmond.
So
But anyways, it was a lot of fun.
Dave, did you ride a motorcycle at all when you were in Europe?
I didn't, and I really regret that I didn't. I had a weekend free at the end after we finished all the work and rented a car. But I had one of my people was with me that when I went through the Alps, so I couldn't ride a bike.
Let
or
me
rent a
ask you
bike.
this, Dave. Since you have to have multiple licenses over there as you like CC up, right?
Yeah.
So if you go over there as an American with a motorcycle license, can you ride anything?
You know, that's a
Or do
good,
they limit you?
That's a good question because I went to House of Flames, Harley Davidson, the big dealer in Munich, which super cool. I'm going to drop a video hopefully next week on that. That was a really cool dealership, but they were renting bikes.
Yeah.
And there were like 4 guys there that were picking up their bikes when I was there that morning. I don't know. I mean, because like it's when you don't have to have international licenses anymore, right? You just like when I rented my car, I just showed them my U.S. driver's license. That was it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that plays on bikes, but if I go back, I'll probably rent a bike, but it won't be a Harley, that's for sure. I'm outside of a rally. I've not seen that many motorcycles as I saw that last weekend when I was driving through the Alps, and it was a mix. It was majority were BMWs, probably 40% were Harleys. But I don't think a Harley is really the right bike for that environment.
No.
Do the European Harley riders, do they cosplay like we do here?
More stylish than what you would expect in Europe. But I mean, it's
never mind.
a lot of black, a lot of leather,
A lot of ascots.
a lot of ascots. My fucking riding scarf, man. I've had for years. You've seen it,
I have.
Yeah.
It's now become an ascot. You posted that picture of you wearing that in Europe. It's an ascot now.
It's just you saw. I think the picture you saw was when I was in Paris at dinner at a sidewalk cafe. Right.
Yep,
It was like 40-something degrees.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's
You know?
okay. We
So
don't wear
that was,
ascots when it's 40 degrees here, but that's okay.
I see. I see. But yeah, no, but the thing that I found interesting, when I was at the dealership, I heard several of the bikes start up that were out there. And I don't know, it just could have been the environment that I was in or whatever, but those bikes sounded more quiet than a stock Harley in the US.
Well, the emissions over there are a little tighter, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So I don't know what they do with the tuning on those bikes, but I mean, it was every bike, right? I mean, every bike over there, no matter the brand.
Because I'm pretty sure they have two sets of O2 sensors on them, one above and one below, that monitor the emissions that come out of there. So yeah, I think they're probably stopped up pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sure didn't keep them back from ripping through the mountains. That's for sure.
Well, no. You know, loud bikes really don't add much but inches on your dick.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Isn't that the truth?
You sure do sound good going down the road.
Pretty much. But I would love for us to go over sometime and just be able to rent bikes and, cruise through the Alps or whatever.
I don't know what for whatever reason I've been really wanting to, and I think I'm gonna try to do it this summer. I'm gonna try to go test ride a Pan Am. I don't know,
Do it.
something there. I have an itch to test ride one of those
Well,
Pan
Ryan,
Ams.
if you come here next month, we could stop at Ted's. You could test ride one, get a free gift card for doing so.
Oh yeah. We're coming down for sure, without a doubt. We're coming down. So
Yeah.
I did see quite a few Pan Ams.
Yeah.
While I was in Munich.
One of our first nice days this year, my wife and I went to eat at a restaurant in our downtown area, and there was a lineup of about 8 bikes, and it was and everyone's gonna laugh when they hear this on the podcast, but it was the first time I'd seen a Challenger in my hometown in the wild. So there was a Challenger parked there.
I'm sorry.
2 or 3 different types of, I think there was one semi-performance bagger, had some of the cool guy parts on it. There was a Street Glide, and there was 3 Pan Ams parked with all of these groups. And then I went into the restaurant, and all the guys were sitting at the table. There wasn't a single guy sitting there that was under 45 years old, would be my guess. So it was impressive that 3 of the guys riding those bikes were older. So I was pretty impressed. I mean, and to see that many in one place in my hometown here, where ape hangers are still king, I was super impressed.
Well, come out this way. I'm sure Walter will let you take his Pan Am out for a spin.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Actually, I sent a text to the guys tonight, and I said, we're not really big on trailering, but we're gonna have to figure it out over the next couple of years. We're gonna have hit about every place we can get to in a day or two, and so we're gonna have to figure out how we do a Colorado trip or a Utah trip when we're talking about something that's 1,800 miles away. And I said, guys, if we all went in together and bought one of those Stinger trailers, have you guys seen those Stinger trailers?
Yeah.
They hold 2 or 3 bikes. And if there was 4 of us riding, you have 2 people in the truck and 2 bikes on the trailer and 2 bikes riding. And then you ride about 600 miles and switch out. Right. So you can easily do 1,000 miles in a day or 1,200 miles or whatever in a day if you're only riding 600 miles of it. So
come out here, man. We'll go ride the Catskills or something.
Yeah. We're gonna figure that out in the next couple of years, how we can lengthen our trips a little bit, and a trailer might be one of the options to do it, or we just say fuck it and start doing iron butts. So we'll see how this weekend at Dustin goes, because we're going to it'll be probably real close to 900 down to see him. So after stops and that kind of stuff. So we're gonna do that. We'll go down in a day and spend 2 days with him and back up in a day. So we'll see what it was like. We rode 1,134 miles was what my trip odometer said after our last 4-day weekend. So we were riding about the 300 a day, I suppose, something like that.
Fuck.
That's a light day.
So it was good. It was fun. A lot of fun. So you've been commuting to work a lot, haven't you, Dustin? Been riding your bike almost every day.
So that's 300 miles a week just to work and back.
Nice.
Yeah, I can go to work 4 different ways, so it's always a new. It seems like it's always a new road or a new mixture. So the possibilities are endless.
I thought there was only 2 ways with 2 roads.
Nope.
Never mind.
No.
What?
No,
You can blaze,
Nobody
you can
got
bla-
it.
You can blaze any trail you want, Tony.
I was going to say, but I only know of 2 roads you can really go on.
get adventurous and take that third road.
You can take that 3rd road. I hear it's a little muddy.
So, Tony, you been riding or just working?
No, dude, I had family in town, and then it's my busy time of year. I'm going 6 days. I take off Sunday.
It seems like you never slowed down in the past 12 months.
I slowed down a little bit over the winter, but it's been like steady
Yeah.
for a while. I had some downtime there, but springtime is when it really starts ramping up. It's good times.
So, Dave, when you were traveling over in Europe, because I had this conversation when we were talking to Dad and Mad. It wasn't the last time they were on, but one of the other times, and we were talking about longer rides. So if you rode, you're over in Europe, you rode a 400 or 500, 600 mile day. How many countries are you going to cover through that distance?
It just depends. It depends where you're leaving from. I mean, it could be 2, it could be 3. If you're, I mean, you could cut through probably 3 or 4 countries if one of them is Luxembourg or whatever. I mean, just
right. Well, and you're not,
Yeah.
and you do something like that. It's not like a state line, right? You got to stop and show a passport and do
not
all that stuff.
not anymore. That's what that was what was really interesting. So when the last weekend I was there, I took the car and we like I said, we drove from Munich into through the Alps to Austria, down to Innsbruck, and over the Brenner Pass into Italy, and had a late lunch at Italy, and then came back. And I left at like 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and was back at the hotel by 6.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't going too fast because I stayed off the Autobahn once I got to Austria to take more of the twisties through the mountains instead of going the Autobahn route.
So how fast those fuckers roll on that thing?
It depends. I mean, I think probably the fastest I was on that trip was probably about 110, 115 maybe.
Nice.
But
like
what I found interesting is that it seems like the parts of the Autobahn that don't have speed limits have become less and less since I lived there.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's a thing that they're trying to do. I mean, generally it was the high end speed limits were around 120 kilometers. What is that? About 75 miles an hour or something.
Fuck, man. In Texas, they got those 90-mile-an-hour speed limits up there.
Yeah, the difference here is that the roads in Germany are made to drive like that. And, here in the U.S., not so much. I mean, it's really dangerous in the U.S. driving at high speed because the roads just are not maintained.
I don't know why you say that. My roads around here are smooth as a baby's ass.
Oh
I've
my
seen
gosh,
yours
the
have got
roads near
yours
yours
have
are
like dicks in the
terrible.
road and stuff over
Dude,
there.
it's
Man,
fucking
and
awful.
pecker tracks.
They're awful, man.
And don't even get me started about Illinois and
I heard
you
I
know.
heard some of those roads out there even have raw meat on them now.
What roads?
Some of those
What?
roads out by you, Tony, even have raw meat on them now.
Raw meat.
Yeah, don't they have like bologna and hot dogs and that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my son's out there chucking fucking hot dogs at people. Yeah. Great. They got me. Cheesegate.
Cheesegate.
They caught me with a pound of unwrapped craft singles.
Going back to driving though, I will say that it was a breath of fresh air to be back in a country that knows how to drive, where everybody stays out of the left lanes unless they're passing.
That's because they're all driving on the wrong
And
side of the
it's-
road.
No, it's the same side of the road. But it's just, coming back to the US immediately, it was like, oh shit, here I am again with the idiots that drive on the left. It's amazing how much just that type of a small thing completely changes your day in traffic.
Well, let me ask you this, Dave, because I'll fully admit to this. I've done this on more than one occasion. If I know that my speed is 10 miles above the flow of traffic when I'm on my bike, I will stay in the left lane for a longer period of time, but no one's passing me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, as long as you're passing traffic on the right, and there's nobody behind you. And I know I've had people that have followed me before that, are like, dude, stay in a fucking lane. Because I mean, that was, I moved to Europe when I was just turned 20. I didn't, I drove for like 5 years before that, but I didn't learn how to drive until I lived in Europe.
Sure.
And it was just, you get into that habit of, passing on the left and you get back over towards, the right or middle lane or whatever, and just keep the flow of traffic going.
Right.
I will ride in any lane, and dicks can be eaten if you don't like it.
You're not a pokey person on the left lane though. It's when you're dealing with those people that drive like 55 or 60 in the left lane and just jam up traffic.
Just jamming it up.
Yeah.
Boy,
I just drive in
Percy
the
came
right
back
lane,
a
you can
beret
pass
wearing,
everyone.
French bread eating motherfucker.
Dustin, do you abide by that lane rule when you're driving?
Yeah, I don't want to be the asshole that's holding up traffic in the left-hand lane.
I will do 25.
Driver's
miles
ed
an
taught
hour.
me well when I was 16. And my old man said, don't be an asshole when you're driving.
There you go. Your old man smart.
Yeah.
Well, I said that because typically if I do that, spend that amount of time in the left lane, it's because I'm driving faster than the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
But if I'm going the speed limit, obviously I'm going to stay in the right side. I don't drive in the left lane slower than traffic is going.
Or if you know there's somebody behind you that's going to go faster than you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You
you
get
just
over
move out the
for
way.
sure.
Yeah.
Even if
Well,
I'm,
when you're driving over there, I mean, you'll look up and there'll be nobody behind you. And 5 seconds later, you look in your rearview mirror again. There's somebody right on your ass flashing his lights.
sure.
So you definitely, want to make sure that you're.
Well, and you're not people aren't running around flashing their lights because that's a reason to get shot. So
I do all the time.
True.
I get behind one of those crazy slow ass fuckers. I'm like flashing.
Yeah. There's cities around
I got
here
a
you should
ticket
not-
actually doing that once because I did it to a cop.
Oh my God. Was it a marked car?
It was
Like
at
you-
night. It was at night. I couldn't tell. And
Couldn't
I was machine gunning
You
my
can't see
headlights.
all
Like, get
the-
the fuck over, dude.
even better, it was at night, so he was blinding the cop.
Yeah. This was
So-
a long time ago, though, not recently. So
Sure.
Oh,
So
sure.
I'm here to tell you. So I have a story about our trip, our weekend. On Sunday of our trip, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. We had to stay away from the place we were camping because the bugs are so bad during the day. So we were trying to, kind of figure out where we wanted to go. So Kenny mapped us a route to a town called Virginia, Minnesota. Yes, it looks a lot like Virginia, but it's Virginia. Virginia, Minnesota. Virginia, Minnesota is in what we call the Iron Range.
It sounds
here.
like the geographical equivalent of Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, for sure. This is a real thing. So it's in the Iron Range in Minnesota. And the Iron Range is where they do a lot of essentially just what it sounds like. It's iron mining there. So this was a town that was a mining town, a boom town. And I'm here to tell you, this probably was the scariest town I've ever been in my life. I thought Rockford, Illinois was bad. Rockford, Illinois is they're like the Disney World compared to this place that
Ryan,
we were at in Minnesota.
If you want, we could take a detour to East St. Louis, and then you
Well,
can
we
make
don't-
up your mind.
Yeah, we don't need to go to East St. Louis. I've heard about East St. Louis. I'm just saying, this city. So we pull into this town. The first gas station that we tried to pull into, all the pumps had bags on them. It was a holiday station even, and every pump had a bag on it. They weren't working.
Yeah.
So we had to go find another gas station. We go in this other gas station. We pull up. There was all the pumps were working. We set up. We get our gas. We go in. We're standing there to pay at the counter, and behind the counter, there is just brightly displayed the 60 people that have most recently robbed this gas station. And
Well
their
then.
pictures are posted, and what they did is also written right underneath the picture, like stole the newspaper, robbed me at gunpoint, took the money out of the gas register. I mean, it was 60 people along this thing, just like wallpaper on the back behind the cash registers. Like all you saw was cigarettes and a wall of people who had ripped off this gas station. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, where are we? This place is horrible.
Can I get a pack of Camels?
So yeah, it was a rough place, man. Everybody was looking at you like, where are you coming from? Where are you going? You should be out of our town. And so in Kenny's GPS, he saw that there was a scenic outlook we were going to go see to see the man-made lake where the Iron Range, where they dug this giant hole in the earth, and there's this man-made lake. So we pull up into this parking lot that was essentially gravel. We're getting ready to, we get off our bikes. All there is like, needles and everything else on the ground. I mean, it's like a crack den. And you see this like overgrown fence. There's three dudes in wheelchairs inside this place. And we're supposed to go and walk down this path where the outlook is at. And I'm like, well, motherfuckers, this is where we go to die.
Or
This sounds like one of my old family vacations. My mom would take us to some
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
sketchy ass places.
So yeah, it was that. So Virginia, Minnesota, sketchiest place I've ever been, without a doubt.
did you put some duct tape over your prison wallet?
Dude, yeah, it was not good, not good at all. The guys, then we came out from the sketchy place, and the three guys in the wheelchairs were surrounding our motorcycles. So
I won't take you any place like that when you guys come, but we're gonna visit Nutwood and have a beer.
Nutwood,
Nothing
yeah.
like a little nutwood.
Nope, nothing like it.
No. So there's like 5 houses and a bar. That's it.
Yeah. So Brittany, you have some news. You should tell everybody your news that the wild happenings that happened while we were on our hiatus.
Well, it is. Oh Jesus!
Was it that
so
house, that
excited, I
crack
got
house
shit
again?
in my throat.
What did you
Uh,
say?
Yeah, she had something in her throat, Tony. She just coughed out a pube. Don't worry, she's fine.
Oh God, no! Gross. No, we have big news. Jared will be taking the Harley Sportster all the way up to Fuel Cleveland this year.
Your Sportster?
I said the Harley Sportster, not mine. No, not mine. Our Autism Sportster.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't been to Fuel Cleveland, this will be my first time going to the event. It is actually gonna be outdoors at a farm. I think in the past they had it actually indoors. I don't know where it was at. And it's a 2-day event this year, which I believe is a first as well. So yeah, check us out. We will be there.
Nice.
What's the dates, Brittany?
I'm trying to find them. Sorry, I forget. It's the end of July. Where the heck is it?
Last
week of
July.
July 29th and 30th, is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's an invite-only event. So the bike was invited, so it's going to go. Get some new eyes on it.
Yeah, it should be a really good event. So yeah, look for me and Jared. We'll be walking around. And when I say Jared, I mean my Jared, the one that you guys always hear jokes about.
Sir Pegs a lot.
Sir Pigs a lot. There you go.
You got an accent. That's pegs a lot.
Sir Pegs a lot.
So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's at the Hale Farm. Fuel Cleveland has their own website. So you can go to www.fuelcleveland.com to get more details. They've got like suggestions for hotels and stuff, and other stuff in the area to visit. But I think it'll be a good event. It's gonna be hot. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
So if you're looking to see
it's
that,
hot. Let me tell you what. it'll never be as hot as fucking Missouri.
Hopefully it won't be.
That place was fucking crazy.
I'm gonna make sure I drink more water this time.
Yeah, because you stroke out pretty easy, and now you have bad flaps. So
Yeah, exactly.
now your eyes are going
Exactly.
to dry out, and you won't be able to close them, and it's going to be a really bad situation.
It's
You
gonna
need
be
the
rough.
Gatorade. Bring the Gatorade.
So if you're looking to see that bike in person and you haven't and you want to see it before FDBM, you can head on over to Fuel Cleveland and take a look. If you haven't yet already, buy tickets. If you've bought tickets, buy more.
I'm still going to try to get it over here if I can and display it at the dealership for a few weeks to a month. If we can
Yeah.
work that out.
Well, we haven't been on in a while, and we've got some Discord questions. We should answer some questions from the Discord.
The
Well, let's
people
hear
have
those
spoken.
Discord questions.
They have
Really
spoken.
quick, in case you didn't know, Fuel Cleveland is a free event. So if that's something that would stop anyone from showing up, it does not cost anything to attend.
It's fucking free.
Just like
Yeah.
our Discord.
Just
It's fucking
like our
free.
Discord.
Just like our Discord.
And to respond, I did post in the Discord to ask our listening audience and the people that are part of Discord to give us some suggestions on some guests they would like to have on. So we're currently in the process of lining up guests. So thank you guys for your suggestions of guests to have on the podcast. And if we don't have somebody on that you suggested, don't blame us because sometimes people don't want to be on. So there you
Speaking
go.
of having somebody on, next weekend, Whit Mesa returns to Five Dirty Bikers podcast.
Wit is back.
Whit's back. Yeah, she's a fun person to have on. So she's
Yep.
always a good time, always a good listen with Whit.
Always doing shit. Endurance shit.
You never know where she's going to be traveling.
Yeah.
We have to ask her if she went to Uranus. Was there a quick trip in Uranus?
Usually they are quick trips.
Jesus.
It's not a place you want to hang around very long. Kind of in and out.
I was thinking more like you have to actually slowly lead up to that, Tony. You can't just jump
No,
right
you just
in
got to
Uranus.
breathe through the pressure and you get it done.
Jesus.
So we should start with this Yamazippy question because we did not ask that one the last time.
All right.
So he says, or she, I'm not sure, with Harley releasing different enthusiast edition bikes, do you think they'll ever go back to releasing CVOs other than the Road Glide and Street Glide? I remember one year they had a Fat Boy CVO, then the next it would be a Lowrider S, so on and so on. It made the CVO line feel actually custom instead of just another trim line for the Road Glide and Street Glide.
So before
I'll
we
tell you-
before we answer that though, people got to know if they don't yet that the 6, which have already have passed when this episode drops, it's our tomorrow right now, but we're going to get more on the CVOs, the new ones
Yeah.
that are coming out. So we'll have that to talk about a little bit maybe next week,
Yeah.
Oh,
along with Wit. But go ahead.
So what do you
I'll
guys
say? I wouldn't put it past Harley to do anything right now, man. I mean, they got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do.
I would say, yeah, I would see a soft tail CVO come out.
Hmm.
I don't know if they will, but
What do you think, Dave? Do you think that they're going to do CVOs and other bikes other than Street Glide and Road Glide?
I don't know. I think I think they're trying not to do too much, but still do enough. Did you guys see that interview I posted in the Discord?
Yeah, I watched it. It was good.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. And I think it was very clear that Johan, what's his name? The CEO.
It's Mr. Seitz.
Yeah, has a very, very clear business oriented vision for Harley and is making, I think, a lot of the, really
He's-
smart business
yeah,
decisions.
he's making the right moves.
Yeah. But I think one of those is not overextending yourself by trying to do too much shit within each vertical.
But my argument to that would be not necessarily. I mean, I think the business decisions are good, but Harley's a people-driven company. I mean, the people are their passion, and so you have to find an even balance between those things. If you focus too much on the business, it's going to become a big corporation that nobody wants anything to do with.
Check out the interview, because I mean that's one of the things that he was talking about was trying to find that balance.
Sure.
Yeah, sticking with their
evolves.
core customer, but also introducing other people to the brand. He's a big brand guy.
He is, and I think I may do a video on that video. I haven't seen anybody else doing it, but I think a lot of the stuff that he talked about and what he's doing with Harley right now, they're all really smart business decisions, regardless of what business you're in. Right. And I know a lot of people have kind of like taken Harley to task for bringing in a CEO that used to sell tennis shoes or whatever. But, those people don't get business. And I think it's with that interview was just really cool. Go watch it. It's the Morgan Stanley, I think, is who did the interview with him.
Yep.
But tying that back to the question, I don't think that they're going to overextend themselves.
Sure. Brittany, what do you think?
I feel like they don't typically launch CVOs for the Softail line, so I guess
They've done a Fat Boy.
One.
They've done a Fat Boy before.
They do, yeah, but how many times? It seems like they focus on the touring bikes when they do the CVOs and like all the custom shit.
Yeah, what the question essentially was is Harley used to do this. So there used to be a different CVO every year. It wasn't just a touring line. So they would pick a different bike and make it a CVO. The only thing that really they haven't had a CVO was a Sportster. But a bunch of the different Softail lines had been CVOs. A Fat Boy had been a CVO. A Road King was a CVO. They've had different, and a lot of them were really loaded with the Screaming Eagle parts package. Really is kind of what some of them were. So. And that was the question, whether he thought they would bring back some of these other trim lines. What do you think,
it would
Dustin?
be cool if they did, but I don't know.
What do you think, Dustin?
About what?
About the discussion. Do you think they're going to bring back any of these other trim lines?
I don't know. It seems like every quarter we're seeing something. So I can't really take a guess as of what, but I think, we're in the middle of the year now. I think third quarter we're going to see something, then maybe at the end of the year we'll see something again. That's kind of the trend I've been seeing. Yeah.
Keep people interested.
Interested throughout the year.
Throughout their year, yeah. I would agree with Dave. I don't think we're going to see a CVO line in any of the other bike lines. I think with their parts and accessory packages, there's so many options to customize your Softail, Fat Boy, whatever, that I just don't think. And I don't know if there's a market for just an increased price Fat Boy or an increase. They're expensive bikes already. So then just to put a CVO badge on it and a specific paint job and number it and then make it that much more expensive. I think they've seen the success with the Road Glide and Street Glide that they're probably going to stick with those. I would say this. I think the CVO lines are going to be reserved for Road Glide and Street Glide. I think you might see ST models in some of the Softails or things like that, because we've already seen that, right? So I think you might see an ST model in some of the smaller bikes, but the CVOs, I believe, are only going to be on the touring bikes.
Yeah, I'd agree. The other thing to think about is, why do they do CVOs on the Street Glide and Road Glide? Because the parts are all the same pretty much, except the fairing.
Yeah, and their profit margin is better.
Yeah, it keeps the manufacturing cost down.
And their core customer can afford
that buys those. Yep, that can buy them.
Right.
Yep, absolutely, for sure.
Good question. What's next?
Here's a great one from Matt Daddy. Heading to Vegas in August, what items from the White Castle are recommended?
Oh, fuck. Toilet paper, lots of it. Maybe some dude wipes.
Dude wipes are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way of the wild now for me. I just don't go dry. I gotta get the wet stuff on there first and wipe.
Jesus Christ.
Hey man.
Hey, I'm here to tell you, if you guys haven't already, check out the 5 Dirty Bikers White Castle video that Dustin and I did a couple. Might have been 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
The White Castle cheeseburger is something. The chicken sandwich is something special. I'm just going to say
chicken and cheese.
Yeah, the chicken and cheese is something special. That was the one I was most impressed with, but you can't go wrong with any type of White Castle.
You know what I miss that they haven't had in a while is the ranch chicken rings. It's their chicken rings, which is basically the same thing as their chicken and cheese, but it's just in the shape of like an onion ring. But they had like Hidden Valley ranch seasoning on them, and they haven't done those in probably
I haven't seen those.
3 years.
I prefer the cheeseburgers with all the Dumbledore mustard you can give me.
I think that's one thing we're
magic.
going to have to do, Dustin, when we're down there, is we're going to have to bring all the boys over to White Castle and
Well, fuck doing steaks and pizzas. We'll get like 3 crave cases and go
get
back to
3
the
crave
house.
cases and just smash some White Castle outside of Dustin's house.
I mean, Dustin's a brave soul because he really he like rounds the menu at White Castle. I don't go off cheeseburgers.
No, dude, crab cake sliders, a 1921 slider, the ghost pepper cheese slider. I'm
See,
down.
there's no way I'm trying any of those.
You're not going to do a ghost pepper cheese slide.
No,
to me
dude,
that
'cause,
sounds
I mean,
like that sounds
After
like
the
my asshole
cheeseburgers,
would just
I could launch a
evacuate.
turd over the building.
There's some big boys coming, dude. I'm to rinse some porta johns. I only got a one holer in my house.
Jesus.
Yeah, Bob will put the hurt on some White Castle. Let me tell you,
You
Kenny's-
motherfuckers.
Kenny's no slouch. That boy can eat an 18-ounce steak and a half of a pizza 2 hours later. So
I watched Bob take down a fucking like the old 96er at that steakhouse when everybody was up here. I mean, within like 22 seconds, it was gone.
Damn.
Putting away beef.
yeah, for sure.
Well, there's no shortage of good eats around here. We can do it all.
Yeah.
Anything else from Discord?
Next question.
Oh yeah, there's a few of them. I like this one. Some dude Max says, when does a DIY job on your bike become bring it to the shop kind of job?
You
As
can't
soon
put
as
it
you
back
can't
together.
do it anymore.
When you don't have the tool in your toolbox.
Or time.
Yeah.
More time.
Yeah.
Or you completely fucked up and broke something off.
Yeah.
There's that too. There's
Yeah.
that too.
I mean, we've bought tools to do work. Like, there's some tools that you don't use very often, but like we bought special sockets to do my primary change out and stuff. But if you get stuck somewhere, call it quits. Don't fuck up your bike.
When I did the jugs on the Sportster, when I put that hammer kit on, after I took the bike apart, I had to like regather my thoughts because I was like, man, I fucked up. Because, you got the rod sticking out. And I mean, the fucking thing's just in pieces.
How old was your bike when you did that, Tony?
It's like 4 months old.
4 months old.
Yeah.
Holy
Sports are down
cow.
to the primary.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Whole top of
afraid.
the motor was gone.
Yeah, I took the whole fucking top off. But, yeah, there was a minute there where I was like, man, I fucked up. But
I think there's a point in time when you're doing DIY projects, and we've done some pretty large ones on my crew's bikes in the last little while, where you just have to stop for a second and be like, oh wow. If you do a cam job, it's when you've gotten everything out of the cam and the whole guts are empty and you're like, fuck, I got to put all this back together, right?
yeah,
When we were doing Kenny's bars over the weekend and we had everything stripped down, and you have this just spaghetti of wires hanging out the front nacelle of his bike, and I took a picture and I sent you guys that picture. You're like, man, I've really fucked up because this has got to go back together.
yeah, it does. And I'll tell you, with YouTube and a service manual, they're really not that difficult. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there's definitely some stuff that you professionals need to do. You know what I mean? But you can almost tackle anything in your garage upgrade wise. Now, if you got a gremlin in there and you can't figure out where that gremlin is, that's where the professional comes in.
Yep.
Mhm.
Somebody with experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't already, go back to our podcast where we had our friend from J&P Cycles on there, Patrick, right? He said on our podcast, the reason why he does it and says anybody can do this job. Patrick has not been trained at MMI or one of the big name motorcycle places. He's a garage wrencher and has experience over years and years and years of taking shit apart and putting it back together. And he uses his manual, obviously, for torque specs and things like that. But listen to it right out of Patrick's mouth. I'm not saying it. He said it. If I can do it, anybody can. So there you go.
There it is.
Oh, I always get this guy's name wrong. Dev RC Racer. I think I got it right this
You
time.
got it. Nice work.
Do you guys pull up next to other bikes that you don't know at stops, or do you just wait behind them? I have had people just randomly pull up next to me at stoplights before. That's a
Douchebag.
good question. That's a good question.
I don't usually. It just kind of depends, I guess. Do you guys?
That's a dick move.
Why? Why is it a dick move?
To pull up next to somebody that's stopped on the road and encroach in their space, that's a dick move.
Anyone else? You guys think it's a dick move also?
I don't necessarily agree with Percy's sentiment that it's a dick move, but
Fuck
I
you.
don't I
Gee.
Dick.
I would agree with them though. I don't do it either. I think for the main thing is you're pulling up next to somebody that you don't know how they ride. What if they just decide to change lanes right in front of you? I mean, you don't have a relationship with that rider, and so I don't pull up next to them, and I don't think you need to pull up next to somebody. What are you doing? Is it a dick measuring contest? Why are you pulling up next to them?
I mean, the guy or girl, whoever picked that spot in the lane that they wanted to stop in.
Right.
Who the fuck are you to go take adjacent space?
I'm not that friendly.
You know.
So,
you
they're,
think
they're talking the same lane
too,
here.
Tony?
Yeah, the same lane. Pull up next
Yeah.
to them in the same lane.
I was thinking another lane. I was like, they don't own the fucking road, so
Yeah, I would pull up next to them in another lane, in a different lane,
absolutely,
but not in the same
100%.
lane.
okay,
100%.
yeah.
When I'm
Yeah,
riding
I
with a
don't do
group
that.
of people and we pull up to an intersection, we always line up 2 by 2, even though we ride staggered. You pull up 2 by 2 if you're riding with a group of people. That way, you're taking up less room on the road. But if it's someone you don't know, I would say no, don't do it. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Would you say that's a dick move?
I'd say it's
It's a dick move.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
A little bit dickish. It's dickish.
It's a little
Yeah,
dickish.
it's you know, it's like just the tip.
Yeah.
It's not like full dick, but it's it's like that's
It's
too
enough
much
to get you
dick,
pregnant. It's enough to get you pregnant.
Yeah, it's enough to where you're like, I really don't want that much dick. You know?
I don't think these analogies are working out today.
Yeah, I get it.
They don't make sense.
That's a good question though. I mean, that I
Solid
don't even
question.
think that's etiquette. I just think that's just kind of like, don't be a dick.
And is there etiquette on that? I mean, is there unwritten rule, of don't pull up next
I
to
think
somebody?
there is, because
I
I
mean,
think a
if-
lot of
if-
people tend to just if you're not riding with them, then why would you pull up next to them? I have seen situations where, and this would be a special case, but like there's a lot of lights here where our motorcycles don't trigger the light to change. So I've been in situations where we kind of pack in and try to fit.
Yeah,
On
you
that
wave somebody
space
up
better.
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or you just run the motherfucker.
Actually, that is
you
a rule.
can.
I think
I
if
think
it changes
technically
3 times.
You're supposed to wait.
In
Yeah, I was gonna say
Virginia-
2. I
In
think
Virginia, it's
2.
twice.
I thought I heard it was 3. It could be 2.
It's
I've done
state by
that.
state.
Yeah, I've done that with a car before, though. Realize I've gone through one light and it doesn't trigger. I'll pull forward and wave the car behind me up so they can trigger the light. I've done that.
Oh, I thought you meant you pulled in with your car next to another car in the same lane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
'cause
can't do
they're
that when you drive a
that
truck.
wide.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I'll try it. I'll try
That's
it and see what happens. Dave.
That's an
I'll
uber
let you
dick
know.
move.
I'll
Uber
let you
dick.
know next week and see what happens.
There you
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I just ripped my ass wide open.
Look, in Kentucky, we're lucky if you can
Yeah.
fit one car on a 2-lane road. So you ain't fitting 2 next to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Have any other
Oh,
questions?
That
right.
was more than I bargained for.
Here, Deep Freeze Bob says, "What's the best way to teach someone how to ride 2-up? Also, what to expect as the driver?"
That's a good question because I would love tips for that as well.
Don't do it and get a solo seat.
Yeah.
But some people want to ride 2-up.
So the first thing, as the driver of the motorcycle, you should know that do all slow maneuvers on your bike. So if you pull into a parking space, whatever, don't have your passenger get on the bike till after you've rolled out of the space or roll your bike into position to take off whatever direction you might be going. Don't try to maneuver your bike slow speed with your passenger on the bike. Let them get off the bike and do your slow speed maneuver duck walking or whatever you're doing in your parking space with them off of the bike. That's the first thing you need to learn. You should be giving directions to your passenger about walking around the bike to inspect the motorcycle so that they'll get familiar with the motorcycle. The passenger needs to understand that they're in charge of the back pegs. If you've ever had anybody leave the back pegs down and you swing your leg over and you fucking crack the back of your calf on that back peg that's down, that's a reason to want to throat punch somebody. Making sure that your passenger is that they understand that they can control the pitch and the lean of the motorcycle themselves, so that they shouldn't be leaning. That's
a big one.
Yeah, they should not be leaning any further than the driver does. So you want to keep your shoulders square to the shoulders of the driver. If the driver leans over further, you match your lean to them, because that will keep the balance of the bike even. If you don't lean and sit straight up, the driver's going to be fighting the turn or fighting the lean. And then if you would lean over, the bike will just dump right over on its side. So it's very important for the passenger to know that their lean angle needs to be the same as the driver.
Depending on the weight of said passenger, whoever it may be, know that whatever type of bike you have, if you have a smaller bike or maybe a mid-sized bike, it may seem a little sluggish.
Yeah, as the driver, your bike is going to react differently in your where you would normally shift your RPM range because of the weight of the bike is going to be different. That also affects stopping and braking. You need to have more room for braking and stopping. When you have
to adjust your suspension too.
Yeah, you might, if a preload on your suspension, you can preload your suspension. The other thing that is significantly different is that if you're a person that downshifts to slow your bike down as you're coming up to an intersection versus braking, downshifting with a passenger is going to slow your bike down significantly faster than it would when you're on the bike by yourself. So all of those things are good things to know. So those are two things. But having a conversation with your passenger is the first thing the driver needs to do before you even get on the bike, so they kind of understand the rules and what the expectations are and that kind of thing. So those are some good tips for two-up riding.
Are there things that you guys have done to prepare for two-up riding? Like, instead of having an actual person, maybe having like a loaded up pack or something in that spot to help you kind of acclimate to that different, dynamic?
You mean like one of those real love sex dolls?
No, not that, but sure.
Get you an Ursula. Get you an Ursula.
Yeah, Brittany, it's really not the same, because the first thing you'll notice when you're a driver, when there's a passenger, is that when they shift their weight on the bike moves. Yeah. And that doesn't happen when you have your bike packed down, because that shit is not moving around, right? So that really doesn't happen a whole lot. So
does
that's
it help
really,
though, just to have weight? Like,
I mean, like
you guys went camping and you had, you obviously your packs are loaded up way different than like a different type of trip.
You're right. I don't think it does. I don't think a loaded down bike is the same as having a passenger on at all. The other thing too, because, my wife and I had this conversation, is that she felt safer when she was leaning into me rather than leaning back against the seat. And that changes things too, because when we would
when you would double dick what?
When we would
Did he say double dick?
He did. I think he did.
I did. It started going there. Yeah. When we would dip into a corner,
she just took a turn.
It did. It took a hard turn. When we would lean into a corner, she would be leaning against me, and so we had to have that conversation about what that looks like when we lean into a corner. That she needs to lean with me, but not into me, versus the other way around. So those kind of things. But it's a good question, Brittany. That I don't think loading down your bike is the same as having a passenger. In fact, I would suggest riding with a passenger without a loaded down bike first, because those things all change what that feels like.
And get that leaning shit worked out before you try the double dong thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should. The other thing too that I always say is that when you have two people on the bike, because I made this mistake, I'll fully admit to it, is that when you're slow maneuvering your motorcycle, when there's a passenger on there, you have a lot less room of error. Stay the fuck off your front brake. if you go into a parking lot or you're pulling into a gas station or whatever, stay the fuck off your front brake. Because if you're in a turn and you touch your front brake with somebody on the back, your bike will immediately go tip over. So
Damn.
you just have to be all back brake, especially slow maneuvering, because otherwise you're going to dump your bike real quick. So, but yeah, a good passenger can make your ride very, very enjoyable. A bad passenger can make your 2-up riding hideous, because you'll be fighting them through every corner and every turn.
I enjoy a good 2-up.
I bet you do.
It might be worthwhile to find, like for me, I don't even know how I would learn to do 2-up riding. I don't know.
Find the
it
lightest
terrifies me,
motherfucker you can find.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, but I
Anorexic.
also
That's Brittany. She only weighs like 70 pounds.
You want the lightest person you can find when you first start riding 2-up.
Right,
And
Like,
then
like a child.
yeah. The smaller, the better.
That's scary to take a child out the first time you. But anyways, I wonder if it's also helpful to have like your first passenger be somebody who's experienced in motorcycle. I would think that would make a huge difference for your, the first time you do 2-up riding as well. Because some people I asked Jared and I've only ridden with I think 1 or 2 other people as a passenger. But when I started as a passenger, I guess it was just instinctive to me to just do what the driver was doing. So I've been told that I'm generally a really good passenger because I just follow their lead. But not, like you said, not everybody has that instinct. They're not ready for the dynamics of a motorcycle. So
when you're going fast and you lean over, somebody who is not ready for that scares the shit out of them because they feel like the bike is literally going to tip over. Or when you go around a corner, they don't understand the physics of a motorcycle. They feel like they're going to tip over. So they're not leaning like they need to be. So it is a something that you have to get used to. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you got, I don't know, I'm a small person, so it'd be tricky for me to find another small person to ride with.
Yeah, Tony's right though. For your first time when you're doing it, a lighter passenger is better because there's less effect on the driver for a lighter passenger.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, when I've ridden passenger, I don't wiggle around a lot. I know if you're at a stoplight or whatever, you shouldn't be wiggling around. You should be sitting still because you could tip the bike over with just small things like shifting your weight. That can knock over a bike if you're a passenger.
Yeah, all those 2-up seats, they're not exactly comfortable, and that was a complaint I got from Jackie, especially when we had that fucking Sportster.
Yeah.
They're
And
terrible.
she was jiggling. I'm like, you got to stop doing that. I was like, we're gonna go down if you keep doing that. She goes,
none of
it's not comfortable. I was like, that can be
I'm
part
going
of it.
with Percy's thing.
What?
Just
don't
keep a
do
solo
it?
saddle. Can I ride with you? That's a hard no.
Fuck no.
It's a hard no.
I'm small enough. Jared says that most of the time, even if I'm not paying attention and I don't lean with him, he said he can't even tell the difference.
So what else we got, man?
That's about it. That's
it?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, on. Those were kind of some good questions.
Yeah, we had some good questions this time.
Those weren't bad.
Yeah.
So do we have coming up? We have Whit Mesa coming up next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wit.
And then we'll get some feelers out for the other suggested guests. Hopefully we get some more lined up.
We got some trips coming up too.
Yep.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
have.
going to be here before you know it.
It really is. I mean, July will be here before you it's on the way quick.
Yep.
In
head
3 weeks, I'll be having the Anamosa.
I'll head out the 12th of July to start making my way to Wisconsin. for the brief
Wisconsin?
Stop.
Yep.
And then it's like end of next month, be heading out. I think I went on the 29th, heading out to Sturgis, 29th of July.
2.5 weeks, I'm heading out to South Dakota. And then about another 2 weeks after that, heading down to see Dustin. Pretty excited about these trips. The trip down to Dustin, we have quite a crew going.
How many
already,
are we up to now?
It's going to be me and Bob and Nick and Todd from Michigan and Jay Sherman. Jay Sherman, I think, made a hotel reservation, and JT from Kentucky. So those are all the people so far.
We'll probably have close to a dozen after I get a few people to come ride with us.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Linda's
Yeah, I've been
fat ass
seeing-
gonna be out or what?
There's been a lot of groups, going out riding and stuff that I've been noticing over the last couple weekends. I'm like, that's gonna be us in a couple.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're really
little
looking
while.
forward to it.
Yeah, man.
Looking-
Just so the weather needs to stay the exact fucking same. Because if you guys come and it starts fucking thunderstorming, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Until-
Yeah, us too, because it's gonna make 850 miles in the rain be a biatch.
Mhm.
That would suck. Donkey dick.
The
Hard.
Kentucky crew minus Tony has a trip going down to the Barber Museum here in a couple weeks too.
Is that like a museum for hair cutting or what is
Yeah,
that?
yeah. No, the Vintage Motorcycle Museum.
Oh, I've heard rumors that people are worried you're not gonna be able to make that trip, Brittany. It's
I
gonna be
thought
too
it
far
was
for
like
you.
I'm
bonsai
going.
trimming for pubes.
You could wax on and wax off. when
Wax
you're done.
on and
Hopefully
wax
I
off
don't have
all
a heat
day long.
stroke.
How far is that trip for you guys, Brittany? What's the distance?
I have no idea. I think it's like 500 miles. I can look it up real quick.
500 miles? Holy shit! It took you 17 hours to go 300 miles in a car. How long is it going to take you to go 500 miles on your bike?
Well, we do have one person who can only go about 100 miles on their tank because we have Dean's going with us. He's got a Sportster, so
Well, I'm sure-
we will have to stop more.
About every 100 miles. It's going to take you
Yeah.
42 hours to get there.
It's gonna take a minute, but it'll be a good trip.
Not because of the sports are. I'm concerned about you, Brittany.
I
really
know
am.
you always are.
I'm concerned. I've
You know,
got some
only
I've got some
only
deep
good
concern.
friends worry. So I'm just
Yeah. Deep
that's
concern.
what I tell myself every day.
What are you going to do if it gets too windy?
I'm worried about the heat, Ryan, not the wind.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have to give you shit because what a lot of people don't know is that on Brittany's way back from was it Missouri or FTBM? When you got caught in the rain.
That was Missouri. That
Yeah,
was
okay,
was
so-
FDBM.
FTBM last year, she gets caught in the rain, so they rode home in the rain, and she had fucking COVID. So
Yeah.
I mean, she did muscle through that. You really should stop complaining about all the rest of the trip since you did kind of get through that shit. You did have to stop though, didn't you?
We did. We stopped because we thought that we were going to be able to wait out the storm. At first, it kind of looked like it was going to pass. And then probably like 5 minutes into our stop, we were like, oh, fuck, this is just getting worse. So, yeah. And then we stopped, was it in Evansville, I think?
Yeah. If we had a 300-mile day ahead of us and I rode 150 miles and said I was going to stop, I think my crew would punch me right in the dick. They'd be like, "We're leaving you behind."
You can pull the I have a shit card.
Was that the single dick or the
Oh,
double
we
dick?
couldn't see
Both.
it all.
Yeah, they'll punch me in both dicks. Yeah, you guys rode through some pretty shitty weather for
Yeah,
If it was anything
not.
like that-
It was not a me decision. It was a unanimous. Oh fuck, we can't see what we're doing. This is not safe. We need to stop somewhere.
Yeah, it's much better to be in a hotel with your feet up watching TV than riding in that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, if it was anything like that clouded dick of death that was coming toward me that I had to outrace on my way back home, that was a wall of rain.
Yeah, it was
was
the same.
bad.
Clouded dick of death. What
Yeah.
did you call that?
Yeah.
The
Tony
dick
would-
of death.
The clouded dick of death.
Tony would have gone to the hotel and he'd have made himself a bubble bath and just laid there and with his
I'd have
Yeah,
been in there,
Hershey's
me and
Kisses
Mr.
on his
Bubble would have
fucking
had a
red as fuck.
relationship.
In his complimentary robe, eating Hershey's Kisses on the bed.
Eating a turkey sandwich. Oh man, it's raining hard out there.
Room service.
Yeah.
answering the door to white robe and a cup of coffee, eating a turkey
Yeah.
sandwich. What are you fuckers doing out there?
What are you fuckers doing? It's raining hard out there.
What do they call that? A cold opening? When you just go in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we came
Dry
in
opening.
hot.
I think it's a
oh,
dry opening.
It's a
Jesus
dry
Christ.
We came in hot.
Well, here we're all warmed up. Just spit on it now, and let's go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's just make this happen.
I think you just made the intro right there. We're good.
Welcome back to the
FPV
530
family.
Bikers podcast. Today we make a lot of dick jokes and then talk about motorcycle
It's
trips.
gonna be a tip spitting good time.
I like that one, Dustin. That's good.
At the Red River Tip Gorge.
Red River Gouge.
River Gouge.